Gemini. Welcome into your next full-length reading here at the Third Flame Tarot. My name is Amber. Thanks so much for being here. I am so happy that you are. Now, Gemini, we've got one very important thing to talk about, astrologically speaking, going on in your sign, and that would be Jupiter. Now, Jupiter entered Gemini back on May 25th, 2024, and will remain in Gemini until June 9th, 2025. Now, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, learning, wisdom, knowledge, growth, healing, self-realization or actualization, and good fortune, among other things. Jupiter is my favorite planet, and you've got it all to yourself until June of next year. Now, Gemini sits in the third house on the zodiac wheel, which is all about your social interactions, how you interact with others. It's communication, learning, and knowledge. So pairing these two things together, Jupiter and Gemini, we get a very open-minded energy surrounding learning, wisdom, and acquiring of knowledge. It's all about new ideas and maybe gaining those new ideas or perspectives through socialization. All right, Gemini, before we get started pulling some cards, let's talk about my meditation I had today. So it was a very beautiful meditation. I really enjoyed it. It had very light-hearted feeling and energy within it. So the first thing I see when I drop into meditation is it's like I'm in a car going down a country road, but there is no car surrounding me. I am just a perspective traveling down a country road. And it's a really beautiful time of day, that golden hour just before dusk. And as I'm traveling down this country road, I'm watching a wooden fence. So there's a wooden fence and a field on the other side, looked like maybe a cow pasture, but all along the fence, there were flowers growing, daisies were growing along the fence. And it was almost like time sped up because the sun set really, really fast, and all of a sudden I was in twilight. And that's when I slow down and come to one particular daisy that catches my attention. And as I get closer to this daisy, I realize that there is a little, she's not a fairy because she doesn't have wings, but she is the size of a fairy, and she's sitting on a daisy petal, and her little feet are hanging over the daisy petal, and she's kicking her feet like this, and she's smiling. It's clear that she's very content and happy in that moment. And that's when the scene went black, and I was in the blackness for a little bit until a visual started to appear of a deer head. But it was a deer, it wasn't a skull, but it didn't have any features, facial features that I can remember. It was just a black deer head, and I could see the antlers. That's what stuck out the most to me in that visual. And then that scene with the deer head superimposed on the top of the visual with the little woman, and she was wearing these antlers. And then that scene fades out, and the next thing I can remember is looking at a table. There are 4 people sitting around a table, and they all have those same deer antlers on, and they're playing cards. So they're all holding cards like this and laughing and giggling and talking and clearly having a really good time. That scene fades out, and the last thing I remember from this meditation are the words, "Therapy pearls." So that's when I have put my own visual into my head of pearls as therapy. And I imagined like holding them in your hands and rubbing them on your body and just enjoying the beautiful energy of pearls. But that was the last thing I saw within my meditation. right, Gemini, let's get started with your reading. Spirit, we're here to get an energy reading for the sign of Gemini. What do we have for Gemini in the month of July, Spirit? Yeah, Gemini, I forgot to mention a couple of things about my meditation, just a few small details. Like the fairy woman that I saw. Now, she didn't have fairy wings, but she was the size of a fairy. And she was wearing a beautiful, lacy, tank top white dress. And it was like tattered, but in a really cute fairy type way. And it had white lace on it as well. She had longer light brown hair, and it was wavy but kind of frizzy. Long being like just past shoulder length. And then when I saw the people sitting around the table, they were wearing like camping clothes. Like there were 2 men and 2 women, and the men were wearing like flannel shirts and jeans. And yeah, it looked like they were wearing clothes that you would wear to go hiking. Like they were out in nature somewhere. All right, Spirit, what do we have for the sign of Gemini, please? Can I get 3 base cards for the sign of Gemini, July 2024? 2 more shuffles. 1. And 2. All right, Spirit, what do we have for Gemini, please? Chiron. Paulus. Gemini, that came out in your new moon in Cancer reading. Paulus. Earth, that came out in your new moon in Cancer reading too. Whoa. If I remember, your new moon in Cancer reading was about maybe getting a new position or a new job or a new title or something like that. Your reading did have something to do with a promotion or a new job or a new title within your career, something like that. And in that reading, we got Paulus and Earth, and here they are again. So the first card out is Chiron. Now, Chiron is an asteroid, and it symbolizes the wounded healer. It's the depths within us where the diamonds lie, right? Within our wounding, within the healing within our wounding, we find diamonds and gems there. Chiron is in Aries right now, and will be in Aries until 2027. Let's read you Chiron out of the book I'm feeling called. Whoa, I opened right up to Chiron, Gemini, right up to Chiron. You know what? This feels like you're doing some serious healing right now. And with Jupiter in your sign, Jupiter is all about self-actualization, self-healing. It's a planet of abundance. Philosophy, knowledge, learning, wisdom, justice, faith, optimism, expansion, self-realization, and Chiron is definitely about that. It's about learning from our past, to learn about our wounding and how it affects our life, healing from the past. Chiron, known as the wounded healer, teaches from inner experience. It is the deepest vulnerability and pain. However, resilience and strength can result from working through these challenges. The bright side is holistic healing, inner knowledge, and integration. Its shadow side is over-identifying with wounds, insecurity, fragmentation, and lack of awareness. But I'm definitely not getting the shadow side vibe out of this, especially paired with the other cards here. This to me feels like, you might have had a troubled past in the recent past, but things are changing now and you are learning about your wounding. You're healing. You're healing from whatever happened in your past here. All right, and then we've got Paulus. Paulus is the warrior queen, integrating active and receptive principles. It is the creative outlet and container of wisdom. The arts, healing, and political activism are all facets of its energy. It is the sword of intellect and justice. Now remember, Gemini, you are an air sign, and your suit in the tarot are the swords. So Paulus represents the arts, healing, political activism, and it is the sword of intellect and justice and the nurturing protector. The bright side of Paulus is insight, courage, creativity, wisdom, perception, and activism. Yeah, for sure. You're definitely gaining a lot of wisdom from your past experiences here. And you're finding stability within this feeling, because the next card out is Earth. Earth is a very stable energy. It's grounded. It also symbolizes abundance, wealth, fertility. Beautiful. Let's just read the Earth card for you, just for good measure. Earth. Okay, let's read it. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Earth represents the material realm, nature, and structure. It seeks security and is solid, stable, and grounded. Reliability and practicality come with the energy of Earth. Due to its receptivity, it is also cool, calm, and collected. The bright side is tranquil, responsible, practical, grounded, secure, successful, resourceful, organized, stable, dependable, and solid. Yeah, Gemini, you're finding stability within your wounding here. You're definitely doing a lot of healing at this time. And with Paulus right smack dab in the middle, you are taking this on with an air of authority. Well done. All right, Spirit, what can you tell us about Chiron and why it's here for the Gemini reading, please? Why is Chiron here for Gemini, please? Why is Chiron here? Whoa. The 10 of Swords. That is ultimate betrayal, ultimate pain. Something really happened in your past where you felt betrayed. You felt stabbed in the back. Somebody did not treat you very well here, Gemini, but you're healing from this with Chiron. You're definitely healing from this and learning from your past experiences. You're finding the gem within the darkness, the lesson within the pain. And it's clear that you are overcoming this. Okay, what else about Chiron, Spirit? Why is Chiron here? Wow, that just flew right out. Oof, gave me chills. We've got the 6 of Pentacles. That's charity. You might have given a lot of yourself to this person. I'm not sure if this is a relationship yet, but it could be one. But with the 6 of Pentacles here, you you were giving a lot of energy to this. You were giving a lot. You were being very generous and kind and pouring yourself out into this situation. Yet it did not go in your favor, and there was a betrayal, pain, hurt. Can you tell me about the Six of Pentacles? What was Gemini giving to you here? What was Gemini giving to you? Okay, somebody who is spiritually draining. Somebody was draining your energy. Like an energy vampire. You know, whoever you may have been dealing with could be very up and down, unpredictable emotionally. They could turn on a dime and you would feel like there was nothing you could do. Everything you did was wrong. But then things could change. It feels very up and down. It feels very rocky, Gemini. Okay, so Gemini was giving to a situation that was spiritually draining, somebody that was very unstable emotionally. And Gemini experienced a betrayal here. Pain, stabbed in the back. Okay, what else about this, Spirit? What else can you tell me about this? Whoa, the King of Coins. Look, he's wearing antlers, Gemini, like my meditation. The King of Pentacles is generally a very stable king. He's solid, dependable, and stable financially. But what I'm getting from this is you may have been in a relationship with a earth sign. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You may have been in a relationship with a King of Coins or an earth sign. All right, Spirit. What did this King of Coins do? What happened between the Gemini and the King of Coins? Whoa, we got another king. King of Cups, and then the Queen of Swords in reverse. Wow, you stood up for yourself here. What I'm getting from the King of Cups, I mean, that's a water element, but what I'm getting is that this person was emotionally unstable. They were very up and down, rocky, and had a hard time controlling their emotions. And you got fed up with this. You became fed up with this and became the Queen of Swords in reverse. You flipped. You're like, I am not going to be dealing with this anymore. I am done. I'm mad. I'm hurt. I feel betrayed. And I'm done with this. And I really feel like you may have walked away from this person. What was the Gemini feeling during this situation here, Spirit? Why is the Queen of Swords here in reverse? Okay. Yeah, the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. You go up and down with your emotions. Sometimes you regret walking away, and then other times you're like really happy about walking away. It's like you go in and out with these feelings that you might have about how things went. But from what I can see here, this was not a very healthy or fulfilling relationship for you, especially with the the 8 of Vessels in the reverse. Vessels are the spirit element, so anytime they're in reverse, I read it as spiritually draining, because I imagine spirit pouring out of these bottles. So whatever this was, it was definitely spiritually draining for you, but sometimes you feel like, I might have acted harshly, right? And you go back and forth in your head, and sometimes you might blame yourself for what happened. You might blame yourself for what happened, but be careful not to talk yourself into something that wasn't real, right? Go back and really, in your mind, look at how often you felt unhappy or unfulfilled within that relationship. How much you felt stabbed in the back, betrayed, or hurt. And remember those times, because it's really easy to get caught up in the good memories and forget all the bad memories, and it's very distracting and can pull us away from the reality of the situation. So yeah, it looks to me like you're still healing from this, clearly, and it's an up and down. It's a little bit of this, you know. You're going up, you're healing, but it's a little rocky. Yeah, you might struggle with contradicting thoughts, like, oh, but I really loved them, I still love them, I want them back, I want to try this again. And then you have moments of like, wow, I remember how shitty that was that one time. That was super shitty. You know, so you kind of go back and forth with these thoughts. But clearly Spirit is saying, you know, you're in the right place, you're doing the right thing, it's time for you to heal and focus on yourself. And with Paulus as the next card, that's more of an independent energy, and a warrior woman, right? All right, Spirit, I want to learn about Paulus and why it's here. Spirit, why is Paulus here for the Gemini reading? Wow. The Four of Vessels. Okay, so this card is, you know, the suit of vessels is not in the traditional tarot. It is the suit of spirit or ether. And this card is basically, it's kind of like temperance for this suit, for the spirit suit. And if you can see here, it's like temperance and judgment had a baby. So you can see here, we've got this beautiful angel, and the angel has this red sheet or cloak that they're opening up. And inside the cloak are four vessels. It's representing a decision here. And then you can see this mummy or zombie person here. It's like you are being offered, divinely offered by your spirit guides, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity for spiritual growth and expansion. But it's always your decision how you want to perceive the situation. And your perception is always going to be the most important. I would love to read this definition of this card for you out of the book. Yeah, it's like judgment, resurrection energy. It's like judgment, the Seven of Cups, and temperance had a baby. Yeah. Okay. Four of Vessels. The Four of Vessels shows us an angel that offers comfort to a dark skeletal man emerging from a swamp. Looking closely at the right side of the card, a drowning scene can be observed. The miners from the previous card brought uncovered and unexpected aspects of ourselves. The treasure was buried together with old scars and traumas, and we are now forced to face them as they rise to the surface. The drowning old king. Whoa, drowning king. And we got two kings over here, Gemini. We got the King of Cups and the King of Coins. Two kings. And it says the drowning old king in the background represents these obscure elements, especially clung to our emotional side. He cries for help, offering great rewards for anyone who saves him, which personifies the difficulties in letting go. Yeah, this person might be coming back and trying to try again with you. They might, what's the word? Hoover? Yeah, they might be attempting a Hoover. Like, oh, I can't live without you. I'm gonna do this to myself if you don't come back. I can't live this way. They might try to convince you to come back and try again with them. But this card is definitely saying that it's a trick. It's a trick. It says, he cries for help, offering great rewards for anyone who saves him, which personifies the difficulties in letting go. In the foreground, a skeletal man rises from the black, swampy waters. As a symbol of renewal, this is one of the most intense experiences in the suit of vessels. This figure is an inner portrait of ourselves, unrecognizable at first sight. Some people describe this image as the confrontation with one's own shadow. His body structure reveals someone who was reduced to his essential form, the purest of all. The angel appears here as a symbol of salvation and seems to encourage the man to accept her gift of awakening. Her attire has the colors of the great alchemical opera. She wears a golden crown that resembles a shining star, spreading her light upon us. This can be seen as a metaphor for guidance, according to Christian iconography. Her four wings implies a dynamic development in our current situation. The symbolism of the wings is many times related to concepts of freedom and protection, giving us a sense of direction. She welcomes the swamp figure with a red mantle, also a symbol of inspiration, giving him the hope and energy to rise up and go ahead. His metamorphosis was dramatic and intense, yet necessary. Yeah, you're definitely, it's like judgment and temperance for sure. It's like you're being called to change, you're being called to transform and not succumb to it's sad. You want to help people, you want to love people, you want to take care of people, but if somebody is like this energy that I'm getting over here, if somebody is emotionally unstable and drains you of your spiritual energy, it's unfortunately not worth it. And one of the biggest lessons in this life is we can't save people. We can't. They have to do it on their own. And when you realize that, then it's like, the only thing left is to take care of yourself, right? Give you the love, kindness, and compassion that maybe you've been giving to somebody else. It's sad. You want to be able to help people. You want to be able to give them love, comfort them. You want to help them heal and feel good and happy and loved in their life. But if they're like still struggling with their inner demons, like big time inner demons, then there's nothing you can really do. You have to just pray for them and ask, the universe to help assist them get to a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of being. But they have to want it. They have to want it and seek it out. And they might look at other people as a means to an end. It's kind of selfish. They might look at people and think, even subconsciously might think, what can they do for me? But Spirit is definitely calling you here. There's a calling to a higher state of consciousness, a higher being, a calling for transformation here. And paired with Paulus, you're taking it. You're finding your inner power again. You're finding your inner power and you're healing from this, and you're moving forward with gusto. It's hard. I mean, it's an up and down here with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. It's an up and down, good days and bad days, but you are definitely heading towards structure here. Structure, resolution, abundance, and prosperity. Absolutely. Keep it up, Gemini. Spirit, can you tell us more about Paulus and why it's here, please? What else about Paulus? Why did Paulus show up for Gemini's reading? Wow. Yes, we've got the moon. That's facing your subconscious fears. That's facing your fears, Gemini. Facing your fears, your insecurities, your shadows, your wounding. And this card was all about shadows. Shadows in their most raw form. Yeah, this experience definitely brought some wounding up from your, your past. It triggered some wounding, but it's ultimately taking you to a higher plane, a leveling up is definitely happening. Let's see what this card is. Whoa, hubris. Yeah, let me turn that the other way. Here we go. Hubris. Now, in this deck, hubris, there's a lot of cards that don't exist in the traditional tarot. Now, hubris in this deck comes after the Tower. So, and hubris represents, it's the story of the devil. It's the story of Lucifer. Lucifer was at one point the Most High, God's right-hand man. But Lucifer had this brilliant idea that he was better than God and could put his throne before God's. But he was struck down with lightning and fell to the earth. And, hubris, like Lucifer, is it's a narcissistic type energy, self-serving energy. It is... They can be really beautiful, physically attractive, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. They can even have very impressive skills or talents that might draw you in, that are very attractive. But behind the surface level of the physical beauty and the talent that they might have, behind that is a deeply wounded and self-serving energy. And this to me feels like when you walked away, it was like lightning. It was like the lightning of God striking them down. And you know what? I think sometimes we don't want to hurt people in our life by walking away or by standing up for ourselves. But really, in the grand scheme of things, it is the best thing you can do for them. Because hopefully they learn from that experience. They go away and they think about it and they're like, shit, I fucked up, right? And when we think that, that's when you start going inward and hopefully learning some things. So this to me feels like, you stood up for yourself with the Queen of Swords here in the reverse. You stood up for yourself and now you're being called to transform. You're being called to resurrect, and become yourself again. You're definitely tapping into your power here with Paulus, and you struck that shit down. You're learning from your darkness and your shadows and fears. And Gemini, I know you have days where you question what you did, but don't. You did the right thing. I mean, you might have done the right thing in a really harsh way, though, with the Queen of Swords in reverse. I mean, the Queen of Swords in reverse is known as a bitch, but you know what? Sometimes people need to experience that. Sometimes they need to see, not in a physical way, and we don't need to swear and stuff, but getting angry can be healthy. Telling people how you actually feel can be healthy. And that's exactly what I think you did here. I think you stood up for yourself and you're like, hell no, I'm so done. And I think that came up in your June reading too, Gemini. I think it did. I think we got the 5 of Vessels in your June reading. Whoa, we got hubris in your June reading too. I'm remembering now. Holy shit. So we got Paulus and Earth in your New Moon in Capricorn reading, New Moon in Cancer reading. And then in your June reading, we got hubris and the 5 of Vessels in that reading. And the 5 of Vessels is all about standing up for yourself. On the card, there's a picture of like a gladiator person with a sword that has cut somebody up into multiple pieces. It's like not putting up with the BS anymore, standing up for yourself. Yeah. Go watch that reading. If you haven't watched that one yet, Gemini, go watch it. That was a really good reading. That one was like blew my mind. All right, Spirit, what can we say about Earth and why it's here for Gemini, please? Why is the Earth card here for Gemini? Where are they finding stability? Wow, the Seven of Cups, but it did come out in the reverse. Let's get some more on that. All right, what else? What else? That wanted to come out. There it goes. Wow, the Page of Cups. And let's get one more. What else? What else? Why is the Earth card here? The King of Vessels in the reverse. Okay, so this might have been a difficult decision for you. You might have felt really confused about which direction to go. It does kind of feel like this has to do with your stability because it's here with the Earth card. You may have had a decision regarding a job opportunity, is what I'm getting. You might have had to move. Like when this situation happened, you may have had to move. And there was a difficult decision on which way you were going to go, maybe within your career. But it looks to me like you've made the right decision. You definitely made the right decision. And now you have this new outlook, this new perspective on life. And the love is starting to come back. Your love cup is starting to come back. You know, starting to be fulfilled again. You're filling your own love cup here. The Page of Cups is a very creative and romantic type energy. It can also symbolize forgiveness or an apology. You know, this is bringing you some stability here. I feel like you're learning how to forgive what happened in the past. You're learning how to forgive because you're starting to understand why people do what they do. I mean, hurt people. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. Wounded people hurt people. Wounded people that haven't resolved their trauma. They don't necessarily do it like on purpose. It's just a trigger response. You know, and it feels to me like you're learning how to forgive. And this forgiveness is bringing you a lot of stability emotionally and physically, emotionally, and spiritually. This is bringing you stability. But I'm also getting that a new career opportunity, because that came up in your last few readings, I think. A career opportunity presented itself, and it's definitely been the right decision. And then we've got the King of Vessels, but in the reverse. Now, that's another king, Gemini. Look, we've got 3 kings in this reading. King of Cups, King of Coins, and the King of Vessels. Now, in the book here, I don't think there's a definition for this card in the reverse. Let's take a look. The King of Vessels is the last card in this deck, too. Yeah, that's the ending. Yeah, the King of Vessels is the last card in this deck. Now, in this deck, there are, you know, traditional Rider-Waite, there's 78 cards. In this deck, there's 128. And this card is the last card in this deck, which to me feels like an ending. It feels to me like you are on the precipice of finalizing this, of internally and spiritually finalizing this wound from your experience. You know, the King of Vessels he's the king of spirit. He's a master alchemist, and alchemy is all about transformation. It's about metaphorically turning lead into gold, right? Turning a bad thing into a good thing. Not that lead is bad or anything, but you get what I'm saying. It turns something that's less valuable into something very valuable, which is all about Chiron here. Like the wounded wing, and on the inside there's a diamond. That's exactly alchemy. That's alchemy. It's turning pain into enlightenment. It's enlightenment from pain. So with the King of Vessels coming up in reverse here, it feels like you are on the precipice of finalizing this within your spiritual experience. Like you were so close to turning this in the upright and being done with it. Let's see if there's a reverse definition to this card. Yeah, okay, there is. I'm still learning this deck. It's a massive deck, and I haven't even had it a year yet. And there are so many cards and so many definitions. I am still learning. Okay, let's read it. Reversed. In reverse, this king is also independent and focused, but he denies any kind of help/union or a different perspective. So he does not accomplish the greatest step in his spirituality. The fire that dominates the card tends to incite his impulsive temper, which only delays the progress of his own higher tasks. This untamed fire can be responsible for other obstinate attitudes and postures. He needs to release himself from these chains, preventing him from hearing the call. Yeah. On a different spiritual level, some can call him a cult leader. His way to inspire people may revel egotistical interests in the process, dragging others into his own abyss. Yeah, what I'm getting from this card, though, Gemini, is that you are on the precipice of, an enlightenment on this whole situation. Like, you are just on the edge of, what is that? Epiphany. That's what it feels like to me. And it says right here, this king is reversed and independent and focused. Sorry, this king is independent and focused, but he denies any kind of help/union or a different perspective. So it might be that there's just not a perspective that you're fully grasping yet, like that you haven't totally gotten yet. But when you do get it, it'll be like an epiphany, an aha moment. It'll be like, oh my God, I get it. I get it. All right, let's take a card out of, do we want this one yet? Yes, we do. Okay. All right, Spirit. What can you tell us about the Gemini's deep-seated fears surrounding this situation? What kind of wounds do they need to work through here? What is their biggest wound they need to work through? And what kind of perspectives do they need to take in order to get to this epiphany? All right, Spirit. Ooh. What else do we have to tell the Gemini? Let's get one more shuffle. All right, what else do we have to tell the Gemini? Tell us about Gemini's deep-seated fears and insecurities. What's keeping them from this fulfillment, this enlightenment? What is keeping them from this? The hawk. Holy crap. You know, when I first went into meditation today, I saw a hawk, but I didn't mention it because I thought that it was my own thoughts, my own consciousness, because the image of the hawk came immediately. I wasn't even in meditation yet. And I use a hawk feather. I use a hawk feather during my, when I cleanse my space with my Palo Santo. And I was just thinking of when I found this hawk feather, because I did find this hawk feather on the ground. And I was thinking about when I found it and how special of a moment that was and how rare it was. And I was thinking about hawk. And when I closed my eyes for meditation, I saw a hawk. And here is hawk. The hawk soars high into the sky. It's all about taking a new perspective, which is exactly what this card was saying, Gemini, that, you know, you're not quite getting a certain perspective yet. There's this perspective that you're either resisting or you're not seeing. So let's read hawk out of the deck or the book. Turkey, kangaroo, shepherd, bear, lion, rabbit, cub, squirrel, hippo, eagle, lizard, griffin. Where's hawk? Oh, here we go. Number 7. The hawk. Intelligence, independence. That was just talked about in the King of Vessels. This is like repeating the King of Vessels. Okay, intelligence, independence, adaptability, and clarity. Hawks inhabit every single continent except for Antarctica. Because of the vast diversity found in the environments they inhabit, hawks are incredibly adaptable creatures. Thanks to their prevalence, almost every ancient culture has a lore surrounding this bird of prey. Many put hawks in the same category as ravens, owls, and other creatures known for their sharp intelligence, and scientists do as well. To see the hawk in your reading is a call to check in on your current state. Are you seeing things clearly? There is likely a situation at hand that is asking for a certain amount of flexibility on your part, but you may feel resistance to bending. Be careful that your stubbornness hasn't clouded your vision to your own detriment. This moment calls for some self-awareness and brutal honesty about the role you're playing in your own life and whether you may be self-sabotaging. Further reflection. These days, intelligence is measured in both the academic sense and the emotional sense, with much of the evidence pointing to emotional intelligence as a greater indicator of success. Which intelligence can serve you best in your current situation? Yeah, you know, Gemini, maybe one of your challenges in life is like controlling your temper a little bit, especially with the Queen of Swords here in the reverse. And I feel like what Spirit is saying here with the Hawk and the King of Vessels in the reverse is that taking a new perspective will help you work through this emotional roadblock that you're at. Becoming more emotionally intelligent. This is going to help you moving forward in all areas of your life. You know, when you can control your emotions better, I mean, that's where it's at. That's like, that's like enlightenment. That's like Buddha sitting on the mountain, you know? We're all trying to get there. But that shouldn't be, it shouldn't, there should be an organic flow to learning this emotional intelligence, to becoming more emotionally intelligent. And it takes practice. Like, I might be talking about this, but I ain't no master, I have not mastered emotional intelligence. It's really hard in a really testing situation where somebody is really poking you, trying your patience. It's really hard to remain cool, calm, and collected. But, with Paula's here, you're definitely working on this. Paulus is the warrior queen, but she is cool, calm, and collected. Right? Pretty sure that's what it said for Paulus. Let's take a look one more time. Yeah, Paulus. The arts, healing, political activism, the sword of justice, intellect, and the nurturing protector. Or yeah, the Earth card, that was the cool, calm, and collected. I know we got cool, calm, and collected somewhere in here. And I feel like the hot card is definitely reiterating that, bringing more focus to that. But yeah, Gemini, we're all just a work in progress, aren't we? All right, I really want to get you one card out of the mushroom deck. All right, Spirit, let's get one final card for Gemini. What else do we have to tell the Gemini collective that this story belongs to? Any other words of advice or wisdom for the Gemini collective this story belongs to? Okay, 2 more shuffles. 1 and 2. All right, Spirit, what else do we have for the Gemini collective that this story belongs to, please? The Scientist. Curiosity, questioning, and ambition. That is Jupiter in Gemini energy right there. It's emotional or mental expansion, right? Knowledge, learning, wisdom, growth, expansion, questioning things. You turning inward and really questioning why you feel the way that you feel and why things happen the way that they happen is actually bringing you a huge amount of growth. Yeah, Gemini is all about learning. All about learning. Your planet is Mercury, the messenger god. And education, right? Intellect and analysis. You are really going inward and analyzing this situation. And you are learning from it, just like, and we got the Alchemist here. The Alchemist card is like a scientist. Scientists, it takes a lot of trial and error in order to get to a, what do you call it? It takes a lot of trial and error in order to get to a success, right? A success within an experiment. It takes a lot of trial and error. Scientists will spend sometimes years researching and collecting data and writing things down and trying experiment after experiment after experiment until they get to the final aha moment where they finally discover something. And I feel like you're still in this data collecting era within your experience right now. You're still collecting ideas and concepts and experiences, but you are really analyzing what happened. And this analyzing is going to bring you to an aha moment. It's going to bring you to a new perspective where you'll look back on this and you'll be like, wow, now I get it. I understand why Spirit put me through that. I get it now. I totally get it. Keep questioning, Gemini. Keep questioning. You are on the right track. All right, Gemini. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you. I hope you have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I cannot wait to see you again in the next reading. Namaste.